Hi, I'm Bhavish, and in this video we are going to look at the basic syntax of CL, the command language programming for AS400. So let's begin. So as we know, the basic structure of a CL program, you have to write PGM and ENDPGM at the end of the program, PGM at the start of the program, and all the commands or your program lines will go in between PGM and ENDPGM. So these are markers to start the program and to end the program. So the key components of the program are the commands themselves. That is a command like send pgm msg or whichever AS400 command is going to get executed from it. Parameters of the program like send pgm msg has one parameter which we have used, that is msg. You can also have multiple parameters in your command. So multiple parameters are supported one after the other. Another important component are variables. So you can use DCL to declare a variable, and there are various parameters for declaring variables. So name of the variable, type of the variable, length of the variable, and so on. Another important component is comments. So comments are enclosed in the C++ or Java style slash stars and star slash start and end. You can have multi-line comments where the comment ends on one line and starts on the next line with a plus like this. Even normal command lines can be separated with a plus at the end, which denotes continuation. So the command syntax is basically the name of the command and the parameters, as we have already seen. So there are some more examples where we have submit job with multiple parameters. So submit job accepts command cmd parameter, job parameter, and the job queue parameter, and so on. It might also accept more parameters. So the great thing with CL is that you don't need to remember the parameters. You don't need to type everything yourself. You can just type in the name of the command, SBM job, for example, and press F4. When you press F4, it will give you an F4 prompt where you can input various values for the command. And as you enter all the values, the command will get automatically created. So you can provide label, the actual parameters of the command, and at the end, the comment that you would want. So declaring variables is pretty easy in CL. You can declare them with the DCL keyword. var has the variable name. All variable names start with an ampersand sign and the name of the variable. Then you have type of the variable and length of the variable. There are some other parameters also. So if you type in DCL and F4, you'll get first basic parameters, and as you enter information, more parameters can pop up based on the type of the variable. So there are a few basic types of variables. If you do F4 on it, you'll see decimal, character, logical, boolean, integer, unsigned integer, pointer, I think this is, not sure. You can do an F1 on it. So you'll get description. So star PTR is a pointer variable that contains an address. Okay, so these are the basic variable types. Length will denote the length of the variable. So if you want to look at an example of variable declaration, we have declared multiple variables here before. So all the parameters in the PGM have to be declared as variables as well. So we have declared some character variables. We have provided length of each variable and the initial value that the variable must have when the variable is declared. Then we have changed the variable value. It's chgvar. chgvar, the name of the variable for which the value is to be assigned to, and the actual value that is supposed to be assigned to that variable. So we are deriving the value from other variables. We are concatenating multiple variables with star cat, and we are creating a concatenated string. So variable declaration, there are more data types available. You can look at those by looking at the IBM documentation. Decimal, logical, character, name, simple name, generic, path name, date, time, hex, integer, unsigned integer, null, command string, and so on. So you can refer to the IBM documentation for more details. So we have already seen some examples of variable declaration. So assigning values to the variable. This also we have seen in the example. chgvar command can be used. So chgvar, var name is username. So to the username variable, we are assigning the value of John Doe, and to the counter variable, we are assigning the value of phi. Then we can also create conditional statements and control flows in the CL program. So conditional statements means if conditions, if else. So there's some basic syntax of if condition. So if condition, so the condition is specified inside the COND parameter. So if variable counter is equal to phi, then you're supposed to execute and display a message that counter is phi. So if then, so instead of using equal to sign, we use equal, star EQ, star LT, and so on. So the IBM documentation explains more of this. If you look at the control processing within CL, it has explanation for if, else, and so on. We have a lot of loops, while loop, do while loop, and some inbuilt functions are also specified on the IBM documentation. We'll go through this in detail, but this is just an introductory video to the CL program syntax, so we'll not deep dive in it. So we can also use star equal to, instead of star EQ, you can also use equal to apparently. We can have an else statement. If the condition is true, then execute this, else execute this. So you can also have complex if and else. So we'll look at all this when we dive deep into the CL programming concepts of loops and conditions. But for basic understanding, we are only pacing fast through the basic syntax of CL. So you have if statements, if else statements we have seen. We can write loops in CL. So we have do while loop. So the do while loop is basically a while loop where you first check a condition. If the condition is true, only then you will execute the statements inside and the loop ends. You can have a for loop and monitoring errors with mon message. So this is like exception handling in Java, where you keep on monitoring for the specific error, and if this error occurs, then what is the control flow to execute without aborting the program. So best practices for CL is the variable name should be meaningful. Your program should be readable. Other programmers should be able to understand the usage and the meaning of the variable. Indentation should be there. Proper indentation should be there for loops and if conditions and so on. Comments are useful, and mon messages are also useful. So exception handling is required. And that is it for today's video. We did a quick little video on the basic structure of the CL program on AS400. If you do like these videos, kindly consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.